as well. But let's talk about another conglomerate, L&T Group. That's eyeing leadership in the realty space and a berth in the top 5 companies in the IT sector itself. Lata Venkatesh joins in with the key takeaways that she's got from her exclusive conversation, off-camera conversation with the MD and CEO of the company. Lata.
That's right. The key takeaway from the conversation was more strategic. The CEO obviously refused to be drawn into numbers in terms of, order book and margins and stuff like that. But overall, the extent of the conversation that revolved around realty gave me the feeling that they're extremely gung-ho about that piece. They're expecting to become the biggest realtor in probably a couple of years or more. A few years was what he said. And they're trying to do it in a financially smart fashion, is what the MD said. He said they, as was announced last year in November, I think, they had a tie-up with Capital Land, which is a trust registered in Singapore. And Capital Land, the MD said, the understanding is that they would jointly invest in projects, in office space projects. 6 million square feet is what is the initial agreement. And Capital Land has agreed to buy out the entire thing about 2 years after completion. So, L&T Realty is not saddled with the money. The money comes in 2 years and they can reinvest it in newer projects. So they don't have to put in fresh money or fresh debt or equity. The other tie-up which they had with HDFC Capital Advisory, that company is the private equity arm of HDFC. Now, they have a JV with L&T Realty, and here the JV is for residential properties. So the expectation is that the land purchase will be done by the JV. Again, so fresh equity will not have to flow out of L&T Realty itself. The other big chunk which L&T Realty is constructing is in-house. Nothing less than 30 million square feet of office space for the various L&T units, L&T, LTI Mindtree, LTTS, and of course even their construction units. Many of them are now sitting in hired offices. They will come into their own offices, and therefore there is an expectation that a lot of working capital will be released in the process. So Realty is the big one. They refuse to be drawn into a conversation on whether it will be listed separately, but looks like, if they wanted to be the biggest company, then clearly there could be listing plans later on, but that's not what the MD said. The other part of the conversation was on IT, where they're hoping to become the 5th, at least in the top 5 IT companies. Already they are 6th. The top 5 being, of course, Infosys, Wipro, TCS, and HCL Tech and Tech Mahindra. In terms of market cap, they have beaten Tech Mahindra, but in terms of sales, they are a good 20% smaller. The expectation is to get there. The growth looks good, except that older clients are giving fewer orders, but the number of clients and orders are increasing, is the current position. The other big part of the conversation was on ESG. Remember, MSCI has upgraded L&T's ESG rating from single B to double B, but the chairman was more interested, the CEO was more interested in the fact that they are committed to ESG per se, and not because it can help them raise funds cheaply. They've audited all their factories and locations for the extent of emission and green cover, and they're formulating a plan to bring them to water neutral. That is, you don't live off the water in terms of water harvesting and stuff like that, as well as carbon emission neutral. Where I guess I will have to speak about the overall capex plan, because that's what you expect from L&T. The CEO said that there is an improvement in private sector capex, especially in the projects and manufacturing segment, which is where the private sector participates. The extent of orders has gone up from 22% to 27%. And of course, government capex is good, very triumphant about the fact that he has completed the Mumbai Coastal Road, their part, as well as the Trans-Harbour Link.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Lata. Well, let's move on then. Gujarat Gas, that's one of the big buzzers